This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Has anybody heard from Danny?
I have not heard from Danny, and I don't know if Don's going to be joining us or not either.
Okay.
Well, I don't think Don is liaison anymore.
Don is no longer a member of the city council. He resigned, is my understanding. And Shad is, he sent an email asking for the link. I sent that to him, so I thought he was going to join us.
I sent it to him too. I forwarded mine.
Yeah, I did too. So maybe we could wait a couple minutes.
So
He's probably at work.
So Don resigned from the council.
Don.
Yeah, Don
Yeah.
did. Yes.
And so did another person last week resign that's running for the city council. Robbins,
Oh.
Frank Robbins.
Oh, Rob. Okay. Well, the other liaison that we have had in the past is Collins. Tim Collins has been to our meetings in the past, but I don't know if anybody notified him.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, and I guess if we're reconstituting these meetings and getting going again, which is great, I've got a couple of the elephants in the room, right? So obviously it's been well publicized about a lot of the concerns and issues around some of the city council members and the potential that funds that have been raised or even that the city's committed to the park, some of those may have been siphoned off for pet projects of the city council, like golf course related work. Some self-enrichment accusations, and this has now become even more public. So first of all, I've got some real concerns, and this stems back to the spring when we were finally able to get more of an accounting instead of just talking about, but saw in writing an accounting of the funds that have come in and what has been spent so far. But my concern, number one, is there any kind of auditing around that? I think we really need to improve our transparency and the accountability for what's going on, because my fear now is this project has been somewhat tainted by some of these accusations and by what may have been actually going on. So that's problem number one, or issue number one. Issue number two is what can we do to get the progress back going? And I'm sure Chris has a great update on that as far as even iterative things that you guys have been working on to keep some things moving, even as we still want to work on getting additional larger sums of funding or whatnot. And I bring all this up because I know, David, we've talked about let's start some fundraising, and we've never really gotten that off the ground either. But I think now's maybe the time to get the fundraising going. But I want to make sure our efforts aren't hampered by this park being tied in with some of the other shenanigans that have been going on and kind of tainted in that way. And I feel like we need to start our fundraising now to really get the word out to get ahead of that a little bit. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there because to me, I was close to resigning from this committee as well because of those concerns. I don't want to be involved in a project that's associated with internal shenanigans, lack of transparency, lack of accountability. And I also feel like we've been at a bit of a standstill and not maybe helping Chris and the others out effectively as a committee because we just haven't been doing much. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents in there, but I wanted to get that out there first because those are real key concerns that I have right now about the entire project.
Well, okay, that's a great start, Karen. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get into that discussion, but let's go ahead and approve the minutes first. If anybody, y'all have all looked at the minutes Patricia has sent around, it has been a while since we've met. We want to get back on a regular schedule. If I hear a motion to approve the minutes.
Did you all get the minutes? Did you receive the minutes that I sent?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. That was the last minutes I took, was the March 11th, 2020 minutes, because the April meeting canceled. So does somebody want to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion to pass the minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. All opposed, same sign. Okay, minutes are passed. We don't have any citizens who wish to make any comments, so we will go right into our agenda. And this, Karen, is a good segue into what I think I'm going to take an update to the park, agenda item number 3, as our first discussion item, because that kind of segues into maybe some information that not everybody is aware of. I will be honest with you, I did not know that Don had resigned. So probably some things that are happening at the city that we are not aware of. So in light of what Karen just kind of shared with us, Chris, is there anything else at the city that is happening, and how is that going to impact the parks? And if you wouldn't mind, give us an update on the parks.
Okay. If you've been out there, you've seen at the park, most of the phase 1 stuff is complete. Right now, Chris Williams and I, was a new employee that I got this fiscal year. We're working on putting in the scent garden, and we're working developing the trail. Volleyball courts are done, fields are done. So the last thing that happened is we had an ADA inspection. They came out and had some things that we needed to fix. I got with the assistant city engineer, Victor, and he said that we are now ADA compliant. So we're good with that. Some of the issues that we had were the trail above the volleyball court and the soccer field leading down to the parking lot was too steep. So we fixed that. So we fixed some issues. So we are ADA compliant. The next thing that I've got to do is find a way to open the park in a way that doesn't invite a whole bunch of people there, because we're still under COVID restrictions, but there's people who are wanting to still use the park. We've met about phase 2 already. We have 50% completion documents there. Phase 2 will add another volleyball court, add 2 more baseball fields. And that's basically what phase 2 will do. I've got some information updating from the park when it comes to like restrooms. The city council approved a line item of $360,000 to get restrooms in starting this year. So that's something that was moved up. We will have, that's the next thing we'll be working on. We'll be getting restrooms out there. So that's exciting that we're getting that. Next thing I'm working on is probably the next most important thing that we do is try to get the playground out there. If I have a playground and restrooms and parking lots and trails and scent gardens, I have a park that we can use. So if you took the chance to read the report on some of the things that I'm working on next, I met with PEC about getting electric spectrum, about getting Wi-Fi, and I on lights for the field and lights for the park. So we're moving along. The chamber has volunteered to say we want to do a ribbon cutting out there, so we can get things open and get things where we can use that. What I'd probably like to do is, I know it's an item on the agenda, is the naming of the park. The naming of the park will be named October the 15th at 6 o'clock in a city council meeting. So they're actually going to have a name. So I'm trying to do something in conjunction with opening the park, doing a ribbon cutting, and naming of the park to kind of get things going.
Did they tell you what the name is yet?
Excuse me?
Did they tell you what the name is yet?
No, it actually closes on October the 15th at 5 o'clock, and then the mayor's gonna announce the name October the 15th at 6 o'clock. So
Okay.
we'll have something there. But we're moving along. If you've been out to see the park, it looks fantastic. The fields are great. Getting a lot of interest in it. It's just a matter of what I can actually do that I'm not inviting 200 people to come out and open the park when that'd be in violation of what COVID is right now. So
So Chris, that's great. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me go back to the restrooms. We council granted us $360,000. Is that for permanent restrooms or is that just temporary?
no, it'll be permanent restrooms.
Okay, so it's going to be in the center of the facility?
Well, what we talked about but haven't decided on was at least having one modular restroom right by the parking lot. So I'll have a restroom there. It'll be by the parking lot, the playground, the soccer field, the volleyball, the things that are going to be used first. I can't really open the park up unless I have a restroom, and I'd rather not put a porta potty out there to start with, but we just need to get it going. So what we've discussed is a restroom, and then on the back part of the restroom will be a small storage facility, because I have no storage out there to store anything yet. So that's the discussions we've had, but it's not anything that's definite. And then eventually in the circle, where you see the circle, where there'll be 4 fields, it'll be the little spoke. That will be where a concession stand, a nicer restroom, and all that will go down. Will go down there. So I'm just wanting to get a restroom there so we can get going, and then we can proceed after that.
Are there going to be changing tables inside of the restroom?
Guys, I have to go. I have to go. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work, and I won't be able to attend. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks, Shad.
Well, that was Shad.
Yes.
Is
Okay,
there going to be changing tables inside the restroom for handicapped children?
It has not been decided yet, but I did put that 2 cents in worth, because you got me way back on that and said, Chris, I need to do that. So it is being considered. It's just a matter of what kind of dollars we're gonna spend right now. But I let them know that would be a preference.
And how much are you spending on the playground equipment? Can it be for handicapped kids too, not just healthy kids?
I don't have and I know I should be able to answer these questions, but I'm not the budget guy just yet. I don't know how much was allocated specifically for the restroom. The restroom was initially in phase 1 and phase 2.
I'm talking about the playground, playground equipment.
Right. I don't have a dollar figure or what that playground's going to be. I've just researched some companies that come out and give me bids on it. So whenever we pull the trigger, we can start to have an idea about what it is. So that has not been decided on the playground.
Well, have you looked at companies that have playground equipment for handicapped kids?
I have.
Okay.
When people find out that you're opening a park, you don't have any problem getting playground people to come to you and start telling you what they'd like to do. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Chris, so the restrooms will be up by the soccer field and the volleyball field, correct?
The first one will be, yes, sir. That's the first place we're going to put that.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, can I ask, what's your hope for timing on that, Chris? Is the restroom actually funded, you said, so you'll be able to move forward with it?
Funded by council on starting October 1. We have the funds. So
Okay.
it was actually wasn't supposed to come this quickly, but I think everybody figured out you just can't have a park if you don't have a restroom. So Josh was able to get that in, and council was able to approve that number. So as far as time frame, I'd like to have it yesterday, but the sooner we can get that, the sooner I can get things going.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, great update. Question: last time I talked to you, you said that it was not 100% under your control. It was still in engineering or in planning. Have they turned the entire park over to you yet?
Maintenance, they have.
The maintenance they have. So,
yes, sir.
So, but they're still. Well, that means we can hold events right now. I mean that they if we can meet the COVID restrictions, then
Absolutely.
we can have.
Yeah, it was cleared by ADA, so we can do that now. Can I get 100 people at a time in there? Well, it used to be a $64,000 question. I don't know what it is now. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
But we are doing all the maintaining out there right now.
Were we able to hire any additional staff for you to maintain?
Absolutely. I had a permanent, a temporary person that filled in while we were doing all the maintenance of the park before it opened up, and city council approved that person to be permanent. So his name's Chris William. He's awesome. If you go out and when I take you guys out to the complex, you'll see what a fantastic job he's done taking care of it. But I did get that full-time person. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, fantastic. That's great to hear. That is great to hear. Maybe any more questions about kind of where we are with the park before we go to phase 2? Chris, let's go to, yes, Paul.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Well,
Good. Regarding Irene's comments and emphasis on handicap, disability,
Yes.
accommodating playground equipment, what would the budget impact of that be? Any idea?
Say that again?
the budget impact?
Yeah, she seems to be advocating rather strongly for playground equipment to accommodate disabled individuals.
Right.
Is that something that could even be accommodated for? Is it practical? Is it something that could be implemented and has been allotted for in the budget? Do we know the difference in cost? Is it something required under the ADA?
No, it is not required, but most new parks, they are making them handicap accessible. You can spend $100,000, you can spend $1 million on a playground. There's not a specific,
Funds are pretty tight for this
dollar
project.
figure.
Funding for this project is rather tight, is it not?
Right.
Okay. And is it obligatory, or is there anything from the original grant, the grant money, that requires any type of compliance or with this? You said no already, but I just wanted to clarify regarding the.
Well,
the
Paul,
grant.
I don't know, but I can certainly get you that answer because it's the city engineer that's been working with the grant part. Basically, they're building it and I'm running it, and then I'm having some kind of input in there. But I can certainly check on the restrooms, and I can check on the playground about the ADA requirements for that.
Certainly, it's not my intention to add anything to your workload. I tend to be very conscientious of budgets and
Yes,
money. And if it's not obligatory that we do it, and there's nothing binding us to doing that, then it's my opinion that we should not be doing that.
Irene?
Yeah, my opinion is if it costs the same amount of money as non-handicapped playground equipment, why not? Or
I
if
agree
it's
with
just a small amount more, why not?
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's pretty much right now, when any new park you see going up, they're going to make sure there's accessibility, and it doesn't have to be super complex. It could be as simple as ramps coming up onto the equipment instead of steps only that provides access to kids who may be in wheelchairs or on crutches or whatnot.
I've seen people do where just pieces of it are too, but I'd rather it be accessible to everybody. One of the things that in the future plans or part of the CIP is a basketball court. It's in the 22-23 appropriations. It hasn't been voted on yet because they don't, you don't do that ahead, but there's a figure in there. And one of the things I've looked at is for the basketball part, there's a group called Bank Shot, and what it is, it has 18 different baskets, and they're different sizes and heights, and you have to shoot the ball. And geometrically, you have to hit the backboard at a certain point to make the basket go in, and it is totally accessible. It's handicap accessible, everything. So it's a really neat piece. It's an art piece because you can have different colored backboards. You can have the different colored on the floor and everything. So that was exciting. All I was able to do was say, hey, when we get it, I've got a price for it. If this is the way we want to go, let's go that way. So it's really, really hard to make everything ADA out there because of the severe slopes and everything. I mean, we're trying the best we can on a trail, but when you have the elevation drops and all that, it's hard to make everything accessible. But I would like it to be, as much as possible that way. And then, like Paul said, it's just a matter of cost too. I have input on the things that we like into the park, but I'm not the construction manager. But I would, I'm saying, hey, as the parks guy, let's look at this, let's look at that. So,
Yes.
ADA bathrooms, playground, all the better. It's just a matter of, what we can afford. But you can spend
It will also drive more people to Lago Vista area.
Right. Well, that's why I like the idea about the bank shot. One of the things at this park I have to realize is there's probably not a lot I can do at this park that they don't have in Leander. We have some great parks and recreation systems around here. So what I'm trying to do is bring something different to this park. And I want them to say, hey, have you seen what they're doing in Lago? So there's certain things you want to have, but there's certain things that I want people to come out here instead of everybody leaving Lago to go to other parks. So,
So if I could just finish up my 3 minutes on this, the only point I'm trying to make is certainly to remain compliant, obviously, be as accommodating to everyone who has handicaps, disabilities as is possible. Just don't blow the budget out of the water in the process of trying to be accommodating. That's all.
Yep. No, good points.
Hey, Chris, what, in terms of your sense of timing, right? You're saying kind of necessary minimums to really open the park so people can start using bathrooms, and then the trail, building out more of the trails or the trail connections or whatnot. And I forget if you mentioned a third item, but what is your sense of timing on that?
Well, the scent guard we have done probably within the month, and that's kind of a neat piece. Chris and I have been working out there. The trail, I've heard when I work backwards, is I probably have to have something done by March because of the warbler, we're not able to cut anything down after that. So it sort of backs me up into the when we need to have the trail. I can't. The restrooms are going to be modular, so it's just a matter of getting those ordered, getting some bids, getting them down. So that shouldn't take a long time. They're telling us that right now the phase 2 stuff should be done at the end of spring, beginning of summer. So we should have all that stuff completed by then. And then I have to work. Then you got to work in, getting electricity out there, getting cable out there, getting Musco lights to light the parking lots and light the fields. So we're a ways off. What I'm just trying to do right now is get some cost on these things. So like Paul said, when I get together and say this is what this project's going to cost, I want to already have some of those elements in place. So I'm not slowing things down already than they are right now.
Patricia.
Okay.
I was wondering, first of all, in the minutes, Paul, are you speaking as an interested citizen, or are you a new member, or what's your role?
I'm an interested citizen.
Okay. And then also, have we ever talked about a state park out there? As I know it was brought up one time.
No.
Chris, do you know anything about anybody?
A state park? Skate park.
State park.
Yes, there's what is the exact term they want to use? Because I don't want to say it wrong. It's projected appropriations for the skate park. So it doesn't mean that it's been budgeted and it's been approved. So I got my budget book right here. So it is, there are projected appropriations for a skate park in 22-23 budget. And the number that's in there right now is $190,000. But again, those are appropriations.
And that include, I'm sorry, that's my dog. My husband's getting him. does that include the basketball court you talked about?
No, the basketball appropriation number is 90,000. And that's also in 22, 23 in the budget, but in the capital improvement program. So
Okay,
that's the number that they're placeholding on that right now. It's 90,000 for the basketball court and 190,000 for a skate park. We do have areas already picked out for those because when you start to do these things, you don't want to do something that was projected for something else, and all of a sudden you've just messed up your plan. So we have spots where we know those are going to go, and that's 22, 23. So we're not too far off from that.
yeah. I don't know where the nearest skate park is, but I know it's something that my granddaughter is really interested in. They're still, kids are kind of going back to skateboards. Then there was another thing. I don't know if there's room out there, but I know there is interest in our town for dog park. I don't know where that is or if there's even room.
I have, and I won't say where, I've got 2 or 3 spots already picked out. I've already contacted someone that did the skate park for me when I was in the city of Denison. I think it would probably be the best and biggest amenity I could do for the city right now.
Yeah.
And you can spend a bunch of money, or you don't have to spend a lot. You need a fence for a big area, a small dog, big dog. If you got some shade and trees and all that kind of stuff, I did one in Denison for 100,000. And we did one in Sugar Land that was 600,000. So it's just, what do you have? What do you want? I mean, the dogs just want to run. My only thing is I'd rather not, I haven't had a lot of luck doing water features in dog parks because you got to keep the water clean. And in Sugar Land, the guy decided to put blue dye in the water to make it look better. And the white husky came out and oh my gosh, it's blue. So it breaks down a lot. So, but no, I absolutely agree. A dog park would be fantastic.
Several years they finished real quick. Several years ago, they wanted to put a dog park down here in Arrowhead Park. That's a POA park, and there was a lot of pushback on that. But there was also a lot of people that are very interested in a dog park, especially on the lake, because they want their dogs to be able to swim in the lake.
Right.
So does our park border the lake at all?
I had the Kathy with the POA take me around the first week I was here, and I said, you have all the best pieces of property. I don't have piers. I don't have lake access. I don't have any of that. I have approached Kathy. I approached her in December about a joint, whether she'd be interested in the POA working with us to put a dog park in one of their pieces of property, but we would build it, and then it would be available to all the residents of Lago Vista. And at the time, her board was not even interested in me discussing it.
Yeah, I'm on the board of the POA. We always get significant pushback from the POA members about a dog park and waterfront property that's going to detract from the other uses of waterfront property.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how do you deal with access issues? Can everyone getting in versus POA members only? So it's never really gotten any traction.
Yeah, that's always they'd love it, but not in my backyard. And
it is.
That's how it's going to bark, and they're going to mess, and it's going to be a mess, and they're going to fight. And dogs right now, without getting anything too political, but the dogs are sure getting along better than the people are right now if you put them in a park. So no, I think a dog park's a great idea. I've got locations set out. I've got people who have given me a rough estimate, so I can go to Josh and say, if we ever get to the point that we do this, I can give them a ballpark figure on it. I've been at 3 different places where we built dog parks, so I think they would be fantastic.
Okay, just question. I'm finished.
Well, let's get our human stuff in first, even if not all of it. But I mean, we have 3 dogs, so I'm totally into dog stuff too. But I think let's get our human stuff done first, and we can open.
This is a good segue. What all do we have included in phase 2 of the park? I mean, you
All
said
right.
phase 2, we're halfway through phase
Well,
2.
I'm gonna add the restrooms to phase 2 just because I can. So that's a good thing. But phase 2, actually, it's another volleyball court.
Okay,
It's a 275-foot baseball field and a 225-foot baseball field. So
wonderful.
those are the elements that are coming in phase 2.
Okay, and that's supposed to be done at the end of spring, early summer of next year?
I'm saying that on October the 13th with
Yeah.
the caveat of you just never know. But that's what the plan's showing. So I'm just being transparent on what the plan's
Sure.
showing. End of
And-
summer, end of spring, early summer.
And the funding is coming straight from the city, and we're no longer needing to go get grants for that money?
We have the city council approved the $1.36 million budget for phase 2. It was approved by council.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, the challenge is what do I do after the phase 2 money's gone? And that's why you were looking at grants and we're looking at other opportunities. Yeah.
Super.
Wow, that's great news. I didn't know that.
Good news. So how many phases? Because I thought that we only had phase 2. What do you
Oh.
think in phase 3?
You don't know government. We go 3, 4, 5. I don't
remember
know.
phase-
I just know phase 1 and 2 are spoken for and what we're going to do. There are obviously some things that I'd like to do past that, like get water, regular water out there, get electricity, get cable, get lights, get a
Right.
playground. You know, those things aren't spoken for yet, but the council and Josh has been good with working with me on the things that I've needed to get it open. So I also got $50,000 for equipment for that park to get the mower and get the aerator and get some things that we can take care of the park. So
Nice. Very nice.
had a really good budget year.
I mean, well, I can remember this committee going to the council and asking for $200,000. So we have gone a long way getting a really well-established budget now for recreation and parks. So kudos to you and all you've done.
You know, one of my focuses now, and not because of the political climate, just because I need to do that, I'm trying to get things at the park that for daily users, because I know it'll be a while before I can use some other things. So that's why I was looking at trying to get Wi-Fi out there, or a scent garden, or a trail, or a playground. What's going to drive people to come out there daily, you know, on a daily use, before I get the lights and all that other kind of stuff.
So I will have to tell you, I drive back and forth from Lago to College Station a lot, okay? And I can tell you, I drive by Hutto especially, and they have baseball games going all the time. Why can't we have baseball games going? What's the holdup? Why are they allowed to do it and we're not?
I can speak to the baseball. The little leagues, they're not interested in doing anything till the spring.
Okay.
Lago Vista baseball is not interested in doing anything until the spring.
Okay.
So that, you know, but that was also the previous regime, and I believe within the next couple of weeks they're going to have a new board. So they may decide to do something before then. But once the COVID came, they just said, look, we're not going to mess with this until spring. So
okay. Well, that's fine. Maybe we can get a volleyball.
I have a gentleman very interested in using the volleyball courts. I spoke to the local I won't use the name, but the local fitness place, and I met with them and I said, hey, do you guys want to do some outdoor exercise classes like yoga or stroller fit or some things where boot camps, those types of things. I said, I've got a beautiful piece of property that they could join your club and we could organize things and we could get classes out using the park. I mean, it's a beautiful setting and everything. So I'm reaching out to as many people as possible without having the staff to put these things on to start getting activity out there. I met with a guy who wanted to do flag football out there also.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so let's talk about sponsorships and let's talk about fundraising and stuff. But I want Karen to kind of give us another update. You have concerns about moving forward with this in light of the political climate that the council is now experiencing. Do you feel we can move forward with doing some of that?
Well, I think my point was to get out in front with the fundraising now. Well, we've talked about possibly setting up a 501c3 and beginning to publicize the park more and more. And if we feel like we're far enough along and we're looking at next summer to have, as Chris is saying, more of an opening with amenities there that can be used even at a daily basis before we get the lighting in, we're getting closer and now's the time. And I feel like we need to get out ahead. That's one concern I have, that let's do it now so that this whole idea that some funds are being siphoned off from the park and the shenanigans going on there, whether that's true or not, that's now out and about in the town. So I feel like from our standpoint, to preserve, the goodness of our project, if you will, it's a good thing for the city. Let's get out ahead of that and be able to publicize positive aspects of it and get people excited about the park. On the other hand, I guess, and Chris, I'll put you on the spot, and if you don't feel comfortable, I know you very much want to get this park going and have this wonderful new amenity for the town.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
and all the services and fun things that come along with it. But I don't know if, in terms of the accountability around the budgeting, where's the money going? Is any of the money being siphoned off for other projects like golf course related projects, which is well known members of the city council tend to prioritize? I just want to make sure none of that's, how do we get the transparency and the accountability around that? Do you feel comfortable with the
I
transparency?
feel
around that?
very comfortable with the money being spent where it needs to be spent. I really do. I can express, and maybe this can be answered in a better way whenever Councilman Bartholow is no longer the councilman. He's no longer our liaison, but they will be giving somebody that right after the elections. I've heard that there are council people that are interested in being a part of the parks. So that might be a time when we can give you some, they can give you some assurances about the financial thing. I haven't seen anything when I'm looking at the numbers that we're not getting the money that we're getting, that we should be getting. Facebook social media is a good thing, and it's a bad thing. But I feel very comfortable that when they did investigations on what we're doing, that we're spending the money that we should be spending, and it's not going to other places.
Who is doing the investigations? What kind of investigations have been done? Some kind of audit or some kind of other investigation within the city?
I don't know that they've investigated the park per se, if the money's supposed to be, and maybe, and we did this a while back. Maybe it's time to get the public engineer back and let him show you guys the figures of what's been allocated and what's been spent and all that other kind of stuff. I think that we did that. Seems like it was a long time ago, but that was probably February or March.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, so maybe an update on where we're at, so everybody has a comfort level with what we're going. I mean, we got $360,000 more than what we were planning on getting when the council said, here's $360,000 for restrooms. So I feel very comfortable with that. Yeah, and maybe it's a report on, hey, where we're at with this, so you guys can feel comfortable and you guys don't feel like you're going out there and trying to and being a part of something that's not on the up and up. I completely understand that.
Yeah, well, but also just so that we show that transparency and that the money's being well spent. And in the earlier discussion, we're giving due consideration to the cost of things relative to the value that they're going to provide, our fellow citizens, right? So I think we need to get out ahead of that and be as transparent as possible. And we as the committee need to be some of that check and balance on it, right? We're part of the control, right? We're advising the city, but also we should be there keeping an eye on what's going on.
Yeah.
And if everyone's working hard to raise money, get grants, or the city's allocating, we need to be on top of that. It's a significant budget, so we can't just turn a blind eye to anything.
I
that
would
may be
think
happening.
the way these commissions are set up, it's actually run by city council person. So it's not run specifically by and the other places I've been advisory council are run by the Parks and Recreation director, but it's not run by the director. So I would feel comfortable or suggest that when we do get a city council person who is our liaison, that you bring forth to that person. And I'm sure, I've heard that people want to be a part of it because they're excited about the park, not because because things are messed up. So I would suggest once we get that person named, David get with them and we can get that on the agenda and say, these are, I'd like for us to see this. I'd like for this to be made available to me, how we're doing with the budget and everything.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
So, Chris, and I don't know if you know this or not, I think we're down a couple of members on our committee. I think we do have a couple of vacancies on our committee. Do you know when council is going to appoint members to that?
Well, yeah, Sandra sent something to me and she let me know that, and I meant to get them, but we have 4 terms are expiring in January 2021. And maybe you guys know if you're one of them or if you're not. And if not, I can get the information to you. But they're taking applications to fill these vacancies through October the 29th. So it's a matter of I talked with a gentleman who was interested in being a part of this. So I know he's put an application in, but the thing is if the 4 that are going off still want to be part of it, well, then you can be part of it. But I know we do have vacancies. I can send those to you on whose terms expiring. But
I can,
That would be great.
I can tell.
If our terms are expiring, can we just continue, say we want to continue, or do we have to apply again?
I think you can just request to continue, and I can tell you that my term expires January 1, 21. Danny Carroll's expires the same date. Karen Van Ness expires, and Irene Carrillo's expires. 2, 3,
Okay.
that's 4.
And Paul, yeah, Paul.
Yes, Paul.
If you look in your chat window, I just posted everybody's terms who are expiring. As to the question that someone just posed, I forgot whom, you do need to reapply.
I thought so.
The chairman typically says to the council liaison, this is who I think we should have. The council liaison presents that information to the council and says, this is who who I would like, or I recommend amongst all of the applicants.
Okay.
The city council votes. That's typically how I've seen it unfold in the past amongst the other citizen advisory committees. While I'm speaking a little, just real quick back to the prior topic, Karen, I think you raised some very good points, and I just wanted to acknowledge that real quick aloud and with this being recorded. You made some very good points about everything being transparent and accountable, and especially getting ahead of that, because if anything ever does materialize and come from Frank Robinson's his resignation, of which much was made public regarding Don Barthelow's concerns regarding city engineer and other related accusations, you don't want to be having to explain what happened to this money or that money, et cetera. So definitely maybe do a self-audit, guys. Look into that stuff. Make sure there's nothing that is going to come back to bite anyone. You know what I mean?
Good point, Paul.
And I'm not saying that there is. I'm not aware of anything. I'm just saying that if there is, he who knows the most wins, right? So if you just have a look at everything, make sure everything's on the up and up. That way, if it's not, you can get out ahead of it and be prepared for what might be coming. I'm not aware of anything happening.
Who's talking right now? Who's talking?
Paul is talking now.
Who?
Paul Roberts.
So what if we want to re-up, is it, we have to fill out a new application again and just indicate we're interested in staying on the same
Yes.
committee? Okay.
I did that last time. You have to fill out the same application. Your name actually will go in front of council again. Paul, you brought up a good point. I did not know the chairman had some input, so I will take that. Are you an interested citizen who are just interested in the park? Or are you interested in serving on any city committee?
I am interested in serving on other boards, not your board,
Okay.
but on other citizen advisory boards. The only reason I know some of this information is because I've been going to planning and zoning meeting and city council meetings for almost 2 years. I think I've missed maybe 2. So that's why I'm a little bit knowledgeable about this stuff. That's all. But no, sir, and I don't know that it's explicit, or I'm not aware of anything being explicit or in writing that says the chairman has that influence. But I don't think when people are considering from a pool of applications, I don't think it unreasonable for a chairman to speak with the CDA liaison and say, I would like to see Patricia or Irene or Karen remain on the board. I've looked at the other applications and I think that these individuals remain the best fit for the board and in the best interest of the city.
Well,
It's not what you say, but how you say it.
David, did you have to reapply for January 20?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So we need to go up there and get an application then and fill it in.
Correct.
Here, I have a link right here, guys. I'm actually, I was in the process of posting. I was getting ready. I was literally in the process of writing a post I was going to put on social media in order to solicit applications for all of the various board openings in our city. So I just posted the link in your chat window where you can download that application. And I'm also posting right now, of course, there's fill out the completed application, email it to Sandra Barton, the city secretary, and then she distributes that to the councilman.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you all very much. And when we encourage you to join our committee anytime. We appreciate your input.
I value everybody's time and especially the commitment you guys have made to taking on this challenge of this park. This is no doubt a lot. This isn't just a normal citizen advisory group where you can sit there and just weigh matters that come before and then it goes away. You guys have been working with this for a long time now. So good job to you guys. And thank you for your commitment to that.
Well, we were excited when we were able to get Chris on board, and then Chris has just taken it to the next level for us. So we want to do, folks. I want to, Chad. I know you haven't. Thank you for coming back to us. Any thoughts that you have before we kind of end our discussion today?
No, I'm on board with transparency and really getting ahead of some of the rumors and things that have been floating around the town. I think the integrity of our group is absolutely important and imperative if we want good citizen buy-in and support of our park. And so, it's unfortunate that these things have happened, but I think we're the right group to at least show where we are and what we do for our community. So it's a good opportunity for us to get the confidence of the Lago Vista citizens back. So,
good point. Yeah. Well,
let's.
Yes, go ahead.
Quick of Chris. Chris, did you say that the naming of the park is going to be the closing of the names is October 15th? That's tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And
yeah,
then
the mayor put out a survey monkey, and he's letting. They're going to announce it on the city council meeting that starts at 6. So he's letting people vote until until 5 o'clock. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and then the meeting on the same date is the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the city council meeting. Yes.
Yeah, on the 15th. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I just get that date right.
Yeah, you can go on the city's website. It's the name the park is
Okay, I will.
You can see all what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Paul.
Sorry, just one more thing. Typically, it's typical that the mayor will have a two-step process on approving a city ordinance. It would be by city ordinance that the park be named. So
Right.
it
That's
is
right.
possible, while it is on tomorrow's agenda, I'm actually pulling it up as we speak. I don't recall, I'm trying to remember, they've been reminding people about the name selection for several meetings in a row. I just don't remember if it was on if it was an agenda item at the last one. And I'm looking as we speak to see if they're actually going to pick it,
Yeah.
or if they're just going to have the talk about it, and then they'll vote on it at the next one, which sometimes happens.
I think it's just the announcement of what came from it, which is, need to get it named, and that, yeah. So I think that's actually, if I remember looking at the council agenda, I don't think it's an agenda item.
So I'm looking at it here now. It is an agenda item on tomorrow's council meeting. And it just simply reads discussion, consideration, and possible action. And that's standard language for any agenda item, which means that they may not, if he treats this like he does other agenda items, it is likely that it won't be voted on until the meeting, which would be October 29th. But oftentimes what they'll do is, if it's not a contentious item, if there's not, if the public isn't showing up upset with pitchforks, then they'll oftentimes say, okay, let's go ahead and vote on this. Everybody good with that? Yeah, okay. And then they'll vote on it.
So are they going to just vote on the names that were submitted? Is that how they're
Here.
decide on it?
Look in your chat window
Okay.
and scroll down to page 16 of that PDF, and you'll find the agenda item.
Okay. But that's their process, huh? He's just going to announce the names that were
Yes, ma'am.
proposed.
What they'll do is he'll read the agenda item, and then there'll be staff presentation. If there is staff presentation, there'll be staff presentation, and then they'll open it up to public comments, and then they'll close out the public comments, and then there'll be council discussion, and then somebody might move to take action.
Okay, because, we spent several meetings on this a year or more ago. And we proposed two different names. I just wondered if anybody has submitted those names that we liked.
Well,
if you look on page 16, you can see the list. They titrated down to a list of 8. And so I think our number 3 was ours, right? Lago Vista Sports and Recreation Park.
If you all look at the chat window, I just pasted the names for you.
So oh, okay. I found it now.
At least Cedar Breaks isn't in the name. They kept that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just okay. Okay.
For the record, as a citizen, I went with number 5. That's just my pick. And it was tough for me. I like having the name Lago Vista in it.
Yeah, we did
I do
too.
too.
Yeah.
In fact,
That's what drove our discussion.
Well, from a citizen, from somebody who's an outsider who hasn't been vested in it like you guys have, I can tell you what I found appealing is branding is always important, and it helps to promote the city. But equally so, that branding can segue over to what are some of the attractions we have out here. So I see Wobbler and I think, okay, let's play up the outdoors aspect of things and get people coming out here and just not staying and keep this busy, go back to Austin. But that's what I found appealing to me in the name Wobbler Park is I saw a correlation between a park and some of our natural habitat. That's what appealed to me. But I was also torn between that and number 3.
Number 3 is the one that we recommended first, and then they didn't like that one, so we went to just Lago Vista Park, I think. I can look back in a minute. I mean,
But don't
We
let
decided on
it get you, Patricia. It's, everybody's got an opinion in this world. Lord knows that.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we were going to do sports park initially, and then we realized we have a number of non-sports, organized sports, recreational aspects to the park we
Yeah.
wanted to promote, and so we made the longer name,
Yeah.
or
Whatever.
suggested the longer name, I guess. But
Good job, guys.
okay, well, I guess we'll know by end of month, right?
Paul, thank you so much for sending all that to us. We're now probably into 6 months of our COVID new way of life. I think it's important in light of everything that's been going on that we meet now that we've got Zoom capability. To me, we need to start meeting now on a monthly basis. Can we meet, Chris, in person, or are we still prohibited from doing that?
We're not allowing in this building to meet in person, no.
Okay, so we can meet via Zoom. I thought that we possibly could maybe have a meeting at the park. Can we social distance at the park?
That I know we can do. Because we're less than 10, so we're good
We
with that.
bring our own chairs.
And then
Yeah,
we just bring out a chair and then stay apart. And
Yeah.
I'd love to
And
show
have
anybody
a
who wants to go
tour?
see the park. Let me know. And
Yes.
So
I love showing it off. It looks
it
fantastic.
really, I mean, it's good. And you put the tarps on the baseball fields now. It looks really good. We would like to meet. I think what we normally have been meeting is help me, Patricia, the first Wednesday of each month. I think that
Second.
The
Second.
second.
Wednesday of each month. Okay, so
Is when we've been meeting.
okay, second Wednesday of each month. If that is still a good time for everybody, I just thought daylight savings time is going to take place in a couple of weeks. So at 6 o'clock, it'll be dark. That's what time our meetings were when we were going to City Hall and having our meetings in person. I chose this time just to make sure that we didn't conflict with anybody's evening plans. How do y'all feel about this time compared to any other time?
It works for me. Yeah.
It works for me, but I'm retired, so.
Yeah, I work full time. I can probably, if I can just wing it like I did today, that's fine.
Well, we don't want to put any extra burden on you there.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I can wing it, and if I need to get caught up from the group, that's fine too. I just, this is important stuff. We need to get it rolling. So,
Irene, you good?
I just have to schedule myself not to work that day, so.
Okay.
David, I would check with the council liaison too, because they're actually have more input on this than I would. So I don't know it's going to be a problem, but I just continue to, as soon as we find out who that is.
Okay. So I need to reach out to find out who that is. Have they appointed him yet? But they're not going to appoint him until Thursday, right?
They're probably
They're not gonna appoint him until after the election.
Yeah, it'll be November.
Okay. Well, we might, if you feel it's okay, Chris, we might want to go ahead and schedule at least the November meeting, and then do that. Paul, do you have a thought?
Yeah, real quick. I have after Don resigned and the mayor announced the vacancy as is required by the city charter, and he solicited citizens to make themselves known if they are interested in being appointed as interim councilman for that seat. I am one of those individuals who requested that appointment, and if they're going to consider all of those names tomorrow, and based on the last meeting, it's my expectation based on what they said at the last meeting, that they're going to consider all of those names tomorrow, and they will appoint Don's replacement. I don't know if the liaison relationship goes with that or not.
Incoming
But
call.
if, for example, it does follow that, I would
To answer your Bluetooth
fill
call, you
that
can
for the
press
next
your
month if they pick me, for what it's worth.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you. Okay, so we're
Well,
gonna,
are we assuming our November, second Wednesday of November meeting will be the tour of the park meeting? Or are we going to do that as a separate?
I think we're gonna do that as a separate one, because if we
Okay.
do, we can do it during the day, but if we do it in the evening, it's gonna be dark. It's gonna be
Right.
daylight saving time. So I would, Chris, how many of us can you get together without actually being an official meeting?
Good point. Probably would be a
Probably
quorum.
avoid a quorum, right? We have to stay under
Right?
4.
Yeah. And I don't mind meeting individually with you guys out there. You know, I really do. I'm out at the park at least a couple times a day. I can get you out there. But
I
if you
would,
want to gang up on me and all go at the same time, I don't have a problem with that either.
well, I
Okay,
tell you
no,
what, with everybody,
November 11th is Veterans Day. It's a holiday. That's the second Wednesday of November. So you might want to avoid that. I don't know, unless everybody can make it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be.
Is that a good day for you, Chad?
now that would not be a problem for me.
I could
probably make
that day.
Okay, so
I'm
let's
just
do this.
wondering- I'm wondering if the city's going to have any kind of thing, near City Hall at that little park for veterans. Time that would be on that day I don't know if they're having anything.
I can check, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to be doing that.
Okay, fine.
But let me get back with you guys since I have you on mass email and let you know. But
So let's do this. Let's meet the second Wednesday of November at noon again. Okay. And then reach out to Chris individually and set up a time to go see the park. I think that's going to make it easier rather than trying to get a group to go. You okay with that, Chris?
yeah, and I'm good after 6 o'clock too. So
Okay.
whenever.
So we can do that. Lots going on. Hopefully we'll have a city liaison. By that time, we'll maybe have some more committee members, but, and I encourage everybody, and I will relay this on to city manager as well. All the people whose name is up for reelection, I will go ahead and send a letter to the city, highly encouraging them to renew you as advisory committee members as well.
Thank you.
David, I'm
Thank
going
you.
to attach that monthly report every time, and it just gives you, it's what I send to the city secretary and what they send out to council. So look at the report. It kind of tells you what we're doing, what's going on. If you have questions about it, just I can answer them here, or you can email me and well, what about this? And so that's just an idea. Again, trying to be very, very transparent on what's going on. I can tell you, or you can demand that I let you know that. So I'd rather have it out there and have a dialogue with you and say, this is what we're working on. And if you have any questions about us, just let us know.
Chris, you're a super advocate for us, and you've done great things for our committee and for the park and for the city. So we appreciate everything.
Yeah, I think better things are to come right now. I think we're going to get through this, and we're going to get the park open. People are loving it. We may not get everything we need right now, but we're going to get it going. We're going to let the taxpayers know that we're using this park, and it's a real benefit to the city. So
Awesome.
Thank you, folks, very
Great.
much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll see you next month.
Thank
Thanks, guys.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
David?
Yes.
So you're going to make the next meeting November 11th at 12 noon, and it'll be a virtual meeting, correct?
Yes, correct.
I'll send out the minutes then and to everybody at the time.
Yes, Karen, I'm going to call you later on this afternoon if that's okay. Thank you much, Karen. Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day, guys. Good to see y'all.
Too.